Well, hello, lovely humans, and welcome back to my channel. If you are watching this on Wedding Chicks or over on Facebook, thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're doing something just slightly different than our normal material, and today we are doing a DIY, super easy, free design wedding invitation. And you heard me correctly. The design is free. It's absolutely free. Free to you, free to your friend, free to your mom, free to everybody. And no, it's not just a clickbait title. I promise you, these are absolutely 100% free. Wedding Chicks on their website has a whole entire section devoted to free printables for your wedding. All you have to do is go onto their website, select the style that you like the most, and enter in your information, and presto, you have automatically made your wedding invitations. But one thing that I like to do when it comes to free resources like this is I like to turn it up just a notch because I love infusing texture. Now, I will say that a lot of the printables that they already have available on their website are done. Like, you don't need to do anything to them. But if you're like me and you like creating more work for yourself, why not? Or if you like infusing texture into your invitations just as much as I do, then hopefully you'll find this tutorial a little bit helpful. So without further ado, let's jump right on in. In my opinion, one of the hardest parts about putting together your own invitations is coming up with a great style. How to lay it out, what fonts to pick, what colors to use, and that's one of the reasons that I picked Wedding Chicks Printables to do this, is because they already have all of the fonts picked out for you. All you gotta do is type in your information. So for this particular one, I used our names and didn't adjust anything else, just to show you how workable they actually are. I mean, come on, they even have a thing for your seating chart. If that doesn't make life heap tons easier, I don't know what will. A lot of the collections also include different various signs and table numbers for you to write beep boop on. So for our first invitation, I have watercolor palette, watercolors, paintbrush, cup, RSVP card, invitation, and of course, paper towels, in case I do and probably will screw up. Using my handy dandy paper cutter, which I highly recommend if you're going to make your own invitations because you can only be so skilled with a set of scissors, I cut each of the cards down to size. And using a child's placemat, because I don't want to get my table dirty, I lay out the pieces, grab my paper towel and my cup, and start mixing my colors. Did you know that you can actually watercolor onto cardstock? This is 110-pound cardstock. And when I found this out, I was so flippin' excited, y'all. You have no clue. Now, of course, you want to make sure you don't saturate the paper too much so it doesn't curl too much, but when I left it to dry out in the sun, there was barely any curling and it went away so quickly after being pressed between a couple of heavy books for just a little bit. Now, I know what you're thinking here. You're thinking, Jamie, that's a ridiculously dark paint. Why would you paint it that color? I don't know. I don't know why I chose that color. But just so you know, in case you were curious, I did try it with a couple different invitations, with a couple different colors, and they all came out great. For assembly, I laid all the pieces together, grabbed a piece of ribbon, formed a little X on the front, and tied a knot around the back. Now, this was probably not my smartest move because it created a little bit of a bump, but I will tell you that I've made invitations kind of like this before and used a staple instead of a knot, which probably would work better. Using tape, I taped the ribbon into place and put our little logo up in the front because why not? Look how cute. And for this particular invitation, if I had a white envelope, I'd probably use that instead of the craft brown, but it's all I had. So there you go. For our second invitation, we're going a lot more rustic with it, y'all. I used a craft paper, grabbed an ivory return envelope, a little black belly band, and a cute custom stamp that I actually got on Etsy for our wedding. A couple of sprigs of rosemary, and of course, some twine. Because we couldn't call it rustic without some twine, now could we? When printing these at home, be sure to print more than one per page to save yourself some paper. And kind of to show you what it looks like to cut from the very beginning down to size, I cut all of the invitations to an A7, or a 5" by 7" invitation. For assembly, you start with the invitation, then the RSVP card tucked into the envelope. Wrap your belly band around the back of the suite, using double-sided tape to hold it in place. and then artfully lay the rosemary on top of the invitation. Because, you know, you don't want to lay it down wrong. Taking a bit of twine to secure it in place, I did a quick double knot. And if you are curious about how rosemary actually ships, I did these for my invitations as well, and for the most part, they stayed perfectly in place. And for those that didn't, well, they got a little rosemary confetti along the way. So if you're worried about it, maybe dry it out beforehand. Using my custom stamp from Etsy that I will link down below, along with everything else, I put our cute little logo on the back of the invitation. See, now this time, the craft paper envelope actually makes sense. See, I don't always not know what I'm doing. For our next invitation, I gotta be honest, I was cutting these last night on the couch with chips and guac, and so there's oil marks on this one. And because my color printer isn't working, well, we're just gonna have to deal with it. I really wanted to play off of all the bright colors involved with this particular suite, so I used a bunch of different pinks. Using double-sided tape, again, instead of glue, because sometimes glue gets a little wrinkly, I taped the RSVP card onto a piece of very cute pink cardstock. You might want to be a little bit more careful about placing yours than I was, because it definitely wasn't centered, but oh well. For assembly, again, invitation on the bottom, RSVP card inside the envelope, and accommodations or details on top. Now this time I wanted to show you how to make a belly band. I played around with a couple different widths, and I settled on 1 inch wide. Using the same cardstock that is backing the RSVP card, I cut a strip off the piece of paper. Folding it just around the invitation so it would be easier to hold, I press it firmly on each side to make sure it is as slim as possible. Reassemble your invitation, grab your belly band, and go back to that trusty double-sided tape to make sure nothing moves. And by nothing moves, I mean everything shifts a little bit, but that's okay. Grabbing some rose gold washi tape that I actually got off Wish, just to add another layer of texture to this, I wrapped it around the belly band for 1, more security, and 2, more cute. Yep, everything's moving. But it came together so cute! And for this one, I forgot to tuck it into the envelope, so you're just gonna have to believe me that it looked really cute in the pink envelope. So here you have it, folks, our 3 DIY, totally free design invitations that don't look free or DIY. Oh, so pretty. Oh, and a couple of honorable mentions are these ones that I didn't quite finish putting together for the video, but you know, I started them. On this one, I actually printed it on marble paper from Staples, printed the RSVP card on gold paper, and look, cute. Did some more watercolor because I was bored, even though I didn't cut it. Another great idea, use a belly band and some baker's twine to create even more texture. So what do you think? I thought they turned out so cute! So I hope this inspires you. I hope that you look at these options and realize that if you take bits and pieces of each and every one of these design styles, perhaps you can create an invitation that is perfectly handcrafted for your wedding day. I mean, come on. If you haven't done so already, like this video, subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. We are literally like this close to 10,000 subscribers right now. So if you're not already following us on Instagram, stop what you're doing right now. Go give us a follow because that is where we will be releasing all of the information for the giveaway for when we finally hit 10,000 subscribers. And guys, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to say a huge thank you to all of you who have already subscribed. This, honestly, this channel, the way that it has grown, has blown my mind. I am so honored by each and every one of you for your likes, for your comments, for subscribing, all of it. I'm overwhelmed and I'm humbled. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. As always, a huge shout out to my gal pals over at Wedding Chicks for hosting this video and for creating some ridiculously cool free printables. And until next week, bye guys. Do you ever have those outfits that are like, you look great when you're standing up and then you sit down and you're like, not as great. This is not as great when I'm seated. It's all right.